Yes, session 10. Picking up from last time, you guys had started the session in the attic of the Blue Water Inn. You had just gotten off a confrontation with Izek and a bunch of the guards, and in the confrontation, you had captured Izek, knocked him unconscious, and dragged him up there. So you spent some time hanging out there for a while. And eventually you heard what sounded like somebody threw a rock in through one of the windows of the attic. Looking down, you saw this guy outside saying that he wanted to take you to his mistress and that she had an interesting offer for you. But you couldn't decide what to do with Izek, so you said you'd meet him up later, and so he revealed that his mistress was the Lady Wachter, one of the other political powers in town. So in the process of deciding what you wanted to do, you decided to split up, and I believe it was Adrin and who was it? Adrin and who went to the Lady Jugs? Yeah,
Jugs.
Adrin.
Yeah, it was me.
Yep. So you two guys went to the Lady Wachter's house where she basically told you that she thought that the current burgomaster of Vallaki was an idiot and that she could do a much better job of running things. And she was in a position to take over except for the fact of Izek. And if you guys could take Izek out, then she would have her agents do the rest and essentially overthrow the burgomaster so that she could take over and set things right, so to speak. So you guys kind of thought about it a little bit, and you said that you would get back to her the next day with confirmation of what you had done with Izek. So anyway, returning back to the inn, everyone at the inn was gone when you had come down from the attic, and when you got back, was it when you were returning? No, it was while you were still there, I think. The Mardikovs, the owner of the inn, returned back from wherever they'd been. It was Danica and her two children. Erwin Mardikov, apparently, the whole family had been hauled off when the guards left and couldn't find you. And apparently Erwin had been thrown in the stocks, and Danica and the children allowed to return back to the inn. So the guards then, after dropping off the Mardikovs, surrounded the place, and then Jugs and Adrin had to figure out a way to get back in. So you created some distractions, and eventually you... what did you do? You actually knocked them out, I believe.
No, I did the distraction and I ran away. And then one guard came back or something, and they're trying to knock somebody out. No, they're trying to knock the guy that we had tied up out. When I came back, and everybody kept missing him or something, and I came back and I punched him and knocked him out.
Oh,
remember?
Yes, yeah, because everyone in the
just before going into the table.
Yeah, everyone in the inn, I know, eventually did get out. They were actually coming out, I think, as you were trying to get in. And so you met up at the back door and ran into one of the guards, and you knocked him out. I recall that. And you had Izek with you, unconscious. You had, I know, briefly talked to Izek as well. You questioned him briefly while he was your captive, and he revealed that he was interested in having the doll of Irina made up because he saw her in his dreams, and didn't elaborate beyond that, but that apparently is the root of his obsession, and is very interested in meeting her. But you didn't have a lengthy conversation with him. You knocked him out again soon after that, and managed to escape the inn with him unconscious. And the plan was that the two brothers, the two Mardikovs from the winery who had ridden with you back to Vallaki, they were going to take the wagon back to the winery and smuggle you guys out of town in the back, in basically Hobbit style, in barrels, so you were hidden from sight from the guards. On your way out of town, though, you decided to pick up Irina and Ismark. Actually, you had left town in the wagon, and then you remembered to go back and get Irina and Ismark. So you left the wagon there with the two and went back into town to get Arena and Ismark, and you picked them up at the Church of Saint Andral. The priest there seemed very interested in speaking with you, as particularly you, Rowan. But you guys were in kind of a rush, so you said you'd take a rain check and meet up with him later, and then made your way back as quickly as possible to the gates, where you saw some more guards approaching. You had distracted some of the guards, and that's how you managed to get out without being captured. So that's pretty much where we left off last session. You guys have just left the gates, the west gates of Vallaki, and we're heading back towards the wagon. And pull up the map here. Excuse me. You guys were pretty much right about here. Maybe a little bit ways further. The wagon would have been somewhere right around this area here. So that's where you left off, and Ismark has some interesting things to say in terms of why he had mentioned to you that he originally was thinking that the Church of St. Andral might be a safe place for Arena to stay, and he found out that a lot of the villagers actually do go to the church at night. Vallaki is stronger, more fortified than Barovia is, but there's still, even though there's gates and guards, there a lot of the other minions of Strahd seem to find their way into town, like swarms of rats or bats, and sometimes people just disappear mysteriously with no explanation. So apparently, for this reason, a lot of people in the town like to congregate in the church at night. They can just for additional protection, and it's known to be hallowed ground, so some consecration to the Morning Lord seems to protect it. But Ismark found out that Father Petrovich, the Lucian Petrovich, who's the priest there, he actually advised against keeping Arena there for the time being. He said something had happened recently that had compromised the consecration of the church, and Arena might be at risk were she to stay there. And when he learned that Ismark was traveling with a full-fledged cleric of the Morning Lord, that's when he expressed a lot of interest in speaking with you, Rowan, as soon as possible to help possibly remedy the situation.
Right. I take it we inform them two of the our captive that has the doll fetish.
Well, I was going to ask how you wanted to bring that up. Like I said, right now you're still on the road approaching, so how did you want to explain this to him? Or her, I should say, because Serena's there too.
Is he unconscious?
Yeah.
You left him at the wagon unconscious and bound in a barrel.
Okay, so he's in a barrel, so even if he was conscious, he'd be in a barrel?
Yes, I believe that's how you smuggled him out of town. You
Okay.
knocked him out, tied him up, stuck him in a barrel, and covered the barrel up.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure he didn't see her yet.
No, he has not actually seen her in person.
Okay. Perfect.
So are we all together?
Yes, all the party,
Okay.
including Ismark and Arena, are on the road.
Basically, tell them that, through our investigation and whatnot, meeting various people in this town, we found out that one of the head guy of the security of this town is basically having dreams of Irina, and we don't know why. He doesn't know why. And he's had dolls made of her that are not quite perfect yet, but we recognized it enough that it was her, and just so she can be prepared that this guy might. I don't know how he's going to react when he actually sees this woman in the dreams. So do you have any idea of why you may be in this guy's dreams?
Speaking to Arena,
Yeah.
she shakes her head violently and says, "No, I've never met this brute that you're talking about. I haven't even seen him about town. Although I have heard of him. Some of the other villagers talked about him, mentioned him once or twice, and he doesn't sound like a particularly nice person. You're saying
No,
he made a
but
doll of me?
a number of them, like
Oh,
basically trying to get it more and more perfect. And I
that's not
don't.
creepy at all.
Right, it's very creepy. I don't get the sense that he has any ill will towards you. I think he's kind of mystified by you. Is the feeling that I get. Um, so uh, I don't know. You know what, he didn't seem to have any intention of ever meeting you, but I thought it was important for you to know that evidently you're in somebody else's mind when, but it seems only when he's dreaming.
Well, Arena just kind of shakes her head like she doesn't know what to make of this. Ismark looks quite concerned, and he's very reluctant. He's saying, "So you have this person
You
as a
have him bound
prisoner?
up.
Yeah, he's our prisoner at this point.
Where
We
is
didn't
he?
want. He's in the wagon.
So we're going to meet him right now?
That's right.
I think I would feel more comfortable if Arena wasn't advertised as being around. And possibly, did you tell him who she was?
I don't recall if we mentioned.
No, we never mentioned her
I don't
name.
think we did.
I don't think we did either.
Well, if
We told him we knew who it
We
was,
knew who it was.
but we didn't tell him who it was.
I seem to remember, and I'm trying to remember if my memory's accurate, but I thought you guys had said that she was the
Burgermaster's family.
yeah,
Or something.
Yeah, we may have said that. I don't think we ever used a name, but you're right. I think we may have said that.
It said, yeah, we recognized her from Barovia or something like that.
well, I know you definitely mentioned her as being in Barovia, and I do seem to recall you saying she was the daughter of the Burgomaster.
Yeah, that might be
Yeah,
true.
we didn't say her name though.
You didn't, right? You didn't identify her by name, all right. But so Ismark is a little bit gun shy about even him being around, just because what he was thinking is that he could maybe disguise Arena so that he doesn't see who she is initially,
Sure.
but he would have to really be in disguise too, because he doesn't know how much Izek knows about him or Arena. Well, obviously he didn't know who Arena was by sight because he would have gone to Barovia and found her then.
Right.
But now
He has no clue who this woman was.
right. Well, Arena has never been right. Arena, maybe except for when she was a small girl, she did not visit Vallaki often. Ismark had occasionally visited before, so it's not like he was unknown in town. In fact, he remembers paying several visits to the Burgomaster himself once or twice with his father on official business, and he remembers seeing Izek there, and it's possible that Izek would recognize him as well.
What if we blindfolded him?
Yeah.
Well, that would work unless he somehow got free of the blindfold.
Right, but he's tied up right now and in a barrel.
What if we just kill him?
Well, he knows what she looks like. He's having dolls made of her.
I think the Morning Lord's a very violent lord.
No.
Yeah, but we want to find out why all the crazy,
Right.
don't we? And I think the only way to do that is put them together somehow. Him bound up and gagged initially.
Obviously, her life means more than this guy's life. So if he does anything threatening, obviously he
Yeah, we'll
won't
take
live
him
very
out.
long. But
Well,
I don't know why it would hurt. Maybe it would trigger something if he saw her, right? And we get some answers.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
so Ismark is asking if you actually want to make him aware that she's there.
I think it would help things.
Well, isn't he curious as to why some random dude in another town is dreaming about his daughter and making dolls?
Sister, yeah.
Well, to
I
me,
mean, that's weird.
well, yes, it's very strange. To me, he sounds more like some sort of a stalker that should be put out of his misery. But uh,
Oh,
if more importantly, out of the danger of my sister. But if if you say that he's bound and tied, and I do not. I don't think it's a good idea for us to leave you guys on and let you encounter him separately, because I think these woods are dangerous, and I think we'd be in greater danger on our own than with you. So we will accompany you. I would. How about this? He rummages around in his pack, and he does have a cloak with a hood on it, and he puts that over Arena's head, and he says, I will stay back slightly in the shadows, and Arena will wear this cloak, and perhaps he won't notice initially, and we'll assess the situation. And if things look safe enough, then we can come out more to the forefront and see what transpires. But
I don't think anything's going to happen until we get to the winery anyway. So
is that where we're going? I thought we were going to a camp, the gypsy camp or something.
I don't think you guys had actually said where you were going once you got out of town.
weren't they heading back to the winery?
The wagon was going to be heading back to the winery. That was their that was at least their excuse for getting out of town, and they do need to get back to the winery at least to make their next delivery.
I mean, that's a safe refuge there, at least for us, to plan our next move.
Yeah, you hadn't broached the topic with them, and you hadn't discussed it amongst yourselves in game, as far as I'm aware. So,
right, we just said we were going to meet at the intersection of the trail that goes to the Vistani camp, from what I remember.
Yes, the Vistani camp. The wagon stopped pretty much right next to the trail, one of the major trails leading down to the Vistani camp. But you guys that was just because you guys had forgotten about Ismark and Arena and decided to go back for them. You hadn't discussed what the ultimate goal was once you collected Arena and Ismark. So now probably would be a good time to decide that.
I think if we're going to have Arena anywhere near with this guy, I think we should do it off the road somewhere in a clearing, not at any specific spot where he can come back later if he...
Okay.
Okay, so you're just going to pretty much wing it at this point then.
Well, I'm thinking we go, a few hundred yards north of the road, about a half mile outside of town.
And what does she think of all of this? I mean, as far as, does she want to understand it more, or what?
She seems kind of ambivalent. She mainly seems just creeped out that someone would be dreaming about her and making dolls about her. She doesn't seem to be really all that interested in necessarily finding out why. More interested in making sure that he's not like out to harm her or you,
right.
For that matter. But she'll go with whatever the party decides. I mean, as long as you guys are. I mean, she's a fighter too, and she's got a sword and armor, so she'll stand up for herself. She's not like a shrinking violet that.
I mean, the way I'm thinking is, this can buy us some legitimacy, I guess, with him, which could pay off in the town. Somehow, I don't know. I mean, maybe he would, could bring us back there and talk us out of the problem that we're in.
I don't think we're going to have a problem anymore, because all we had to do was remove this guy from power, and the other chick's going to take over. So by the time we get back, I bet you the burger master is not in charge anymore.
Right. So that's the other thing is, you know,
true.
so this guy's is basically a loose end. So, you know,
Okay.
I'm not opposed to your deal. Put it that way.
Which deal?
The deal those two made.
Oh, the with Lady Wachter, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's you guys have gotten to, well, let's say probably pretty much right about there on the road, and it's not. I'm trying to think. It was nighttime. You guys had set out at night. You guys though do have, most of you have dark vision, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, a few do. Yeah.
Oh, that's
a
right.
dwarf.
Yeah, Rowan, you're human, but I know. Yeah,
I always see darkly.
I think
Yeah.
the other three of us have dark vision.
right. Irina and Ismark do not. They're human, so they don't have dark vision. But they're, it's there's enough light to at least
I'll
see
hold
and
their
knock
hand.
off the road. It's not pitch black. So those of you with dark vision, as you're approaching where the wagon is, make a perception check.
All right.
Okay.
Nope.
Hang on.
Nope.
Oh no. The dice failed you, Adrian. Oh!
My God.
Oh.
Oh, we are all dumb today.
Well,
Can I roll one to see if I hear anything?
sure, yeah. If you want to make, I'll let you make a perception check if you want. I guess I'll roll for Arena and Ismark too.
How do we do that when we don't have our? Just go to my character sheet as usual.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, just sorry, make any roll.
Because I can't choose my. Damn.
Okay. So I'm gonna say you guys were basically kind of talking all this over on the road as you're approaching the
Right.
wagon. So you guys get very close to the wagon before you abruptly realize that it's not exactly as you left it.
Oh boy.
You, first of all, the two brothers, the two Mardikovs, looks like they're on the ground. Well, one of them's laying on the ground, one of them's kind of crouched over them. But in addition to them, you see 6 others actually standing around, and they see you immediately. They are actually, you notice that you can't make out details in the dark because you're not quite close enough yet, but there's one male figure standing close to the two Mardikovs, kind of also like next to the elder brother, looking down at the younger brother. And it's hard to see from this angle, but it looks like he has dark hair and kind of a darker complexion, like he's a Vistani. And the 5 others are standing like around the wagon looking outward, and they are much thinner in appearance, and actually they look almost elvish in their countenance. And they all have bows drawn. They were all facing different directions, but now as you approach, they all turn their bows towards you and shout out, "Stop!"
Whoa, 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 whoa! Hold the roll there.
I stopped.
What's up? What's going on?
They say, "Drop your weapons."
What's up? What's going on?
Why?
These are our friends.
The Vistani, who is standing by the two Mardikovs, approaches you guys, and he says, "You are friends of these people?
Yes.
Identify
Yes,
yourself."
I'm the guy with the
Give him
axe.
the old call
Who are
sign.
you?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that, Paul?
I flash him the gang sign and say my name's Adrian. Does he even know it's from a hole in the ground?
Yeah, I mean, I can say I'm Jugs, but I'm a half orc. If he doesn't recognize me, I don't think my name's gonna help.
Yep.
Ismark steps forward and says, "We are from Barovia, the village." And the Vistani says, "How are you acquainted with the Martakovs?"
We liberated their winery.
From some evil druids.
Ah, so it was you. You were the ones that took care of the druid invasion of the winery and restored the shipments.
Yes. That was us.
And
Huzzah.
he says, "Very
So
well. If you sheath your weapons, you may approach."
All right, I
Never had
shoot
him out.
my weapon.
Yeah, I
Okay.
sheath my weapon and I start
I put it
approaching.
on my back.
Okay. The elves that are standing around you, or not around you, but facing you, they don't actually lower their bows, but do relax a little bit and kind of stand to the side to allow you to approach closer.
What happened to our friends
So
here?
what happened?
Yeah, what's up?
Well,
What's going on?
he motions you over, and what you see is the two brothers. What are their names? There's Adrienne, not Adrin, but Adrienne is the older brother, and Elvir was the youngest son, Davian's youngest son. And apparently, it looks like Elvir is the one laying on the ground, and it doesn't appear that Adrian is wounded, but Elvir, you can see, has an incredibly nasty-looking burn wound at his throat.
I know what happened.
Yeah, kind of in the shape of a hand. And Adrian looks up at you and he says, "This was Izek. Izek escaped."
Son of a gun.
How?
You know where he went?
Mother pus bucket.
Yes.
How long ago?
Actually, this was less than 20 minutes ago.
Okay, I'm gonna cure wounds on who's the younger guy again?
Elvir was the youngest.
Still alive?
Whichever one was hurt.
Yes, I believe he is still alive, but we have to get him back to the Blue Water Inn as soon as possible.
All right, I just gave him 9.
Oh, okay. Well, that right there helped tremendously. Yeah, so you see the burn marks kind of not scab over, but with your healing touch, they, you know how skin looks after it's healed. A burn is healed for like a week or so. That's basically what his neck is, all shiny, and he'll have scar there for probably the rest of his life, but it's no longer like oozing pus and he does awaken with that, and he like jerks up and on his elbows, and he says, "Where is the bastard? I'll kill him! I'll kill him!"
Whoa there. I think
Calm down.
right
a breather.
now, I don't think those guys should go back into town. I don't want to go back to the Blue Water Inn.
Yeah, we can't go back into town.
We must. That's the closest place of refuge. The Blue Water Inn is run by our cousins, and we need a safe place where Eldir can safely recover fully.
What about the winery?
The winery can wait as soon as we find a safe place for Elvir.
Okay. Don't you think it's a little dangerous going back into town with this douchebag in there?
I can heal them more.
Well, I'm not necessarily very concerned about him myself. This is actually not. This is Adrian speaking, and he says, "What happened is we were sitting here waiting for you. We didn't know how long you would be, so we were going to give you about a half an hour or so, and then if you hadn't returned, we would be on our way. However, about 10 minutes or 20 minutes after you left, we smelled something burning coming from the back of the wagon, and when Elvir went back to check, that idiot Izek leapt out of the barrel that he was in. Apparently he had burned through his bonds using his demonic arm, and he grabbed Elvir by the throat, demanding that he be allowed to leave. And with his hand at my brother's throat, I could see the flames dancing along the back of it. There was nothing I could do. He was able to back off 20 feet, and then he basically let loose this huge flare from his hand, burning Elvier's throat and tossing him to the ground. And he took off into the woods. About
Which way?
he points basically it would have been towards this way, opposite the encampment. And he says about 10 minutes or less than that, 5 minutes later, these fine fellows showed up.
So I thank the Vistani for helping out.
Yeah, the Vistani says, well, there's nothing that we did. We just arrived here, and when we heard a commotion down from the road from our camp, we were actually out on a completely separate mission, searching for someone else.
Who are you searching for?
My niece, the daughter of my brother, he and I run this Vistani camp, and his daughter, Arabelle, has gone missing. So we've sent most of the camp out scouring the countryside looking for her. And we happened to come upon this scene.
So should we go look for this guy? Or do you think he's too far away?
At this point, he's basically, from Adrian's story, it sounds like he's got probably a 10 to 15 minute head start on you.
Yeah, we aren't going to go find him. That's not going to happen.
No.
We don't even know where he would go.
He's got to go in through one of the gates.
Yeah, but they'll let him in. He's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why we really screwed the pooch on this one?
Oh, well.
Well, he's not taking the main road because that's how we came.
Yeah, you didn't notice. I mean, if he would have been on the road, you would have seen him even in the dark.
Right. Yeah. So he's got to go through, different terrain to get back to the gate. I mean, how long would it take us to get back to watch the gate and maybe shoot him from a distance?
Yeah, but there's a gate on the north side, and there's no reason he couldn't have gotten there in 15 minutes.
And technically, there's also the morning gate on the east side of town, and there's some minor entrances too.
Yeah.
I see some trails.
See some on the
Those aren't.
south side.
Yeah, they're not actually
Right.
detailed in the town description, so I'm assuming those are like maybe service entrances or something. I don't know, lightly manned gates or something.
Yeah, but there's so many other ways he could have gone in, and
Now the wall. I mean, Vallaki's wall is. Yeah, he basically could have gotten in through the gate himself, likely. But the wall itself is not completely impenetrable. I mean, it's basically it's made of 15-foot high vertical logs, and their tops are like sharpened into spikes. And then there's a walkway on the inside of the entire wall that is set about 12 feet above the ground, so guards can like walk along it and look out over the top of the wall. So it's not completely impenetrable if someone wanted to try and get in. But he wouldn't actually even need to do that, like as you said.
No, he wouldn't. That's his town. Well, we ain't going back into town. That's for sure.
All right.
unless we plan on fighting all the guards.
Well, if the brothers want to go back into town, they can go back into town, and then we can maybe help the Vistani find this missing person.
The Vistani says if urgency is needed and there's a danger in returning back to town, we could possibly arrange for you to stay at the camp.
Yeah, we could use that.
Yeah, acceptable to the brothers and to Irina and her brother.
Adrian,
Well, I don't think they'll be able to get back into town now either.
Well, yeah, it's hard to say. It depends. See the, well, yeah, if Izek tells the guard, it's possible Izek could tell the guards, yeah, he was being held in the wagon by these guys.
Yeah.
If Izek weren't in the picture, then yeah, they could probably head back in. But now that you've bring that up, yeah, that it's possible that they might be held or questioned at the very least, and Adrian doesn't want to risk that either. So he's actually inclined to take the Vistani up on their offer to stay at the camp. He doesn't want to. Doesn't want to make the whole long trip back to the winery at this point, even though it's not that far. Barovi's not that big. It's still
Right.
it's on the other side of the map, so it's not a.
They want to recoup.
Yeah, well, they want to lie low and they want to make sure Adrian's or Elvir's completely healed and they're in a safe place.
Right.
Okay, let's do that.
So yeah, you guys, you don't have to go with them if you don't want to. If you've got something else that you want to do, but the Vistani say that you're more than welcome. And there's actually only there's one Vistana actually. That's the one guy that you've been talking to. The 5 elves are not Vistani. In fact, they're elves unlike any that you've really seen before. Now that you get up close to them, their skin is dark gray, not black like a drow elf, and they have like kind of ashy colored hair. But they're almost kind of just dark complexioned elves in general.
No, I'd vote for arrest.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you wish to accompany them down to the Vistani camp?
Yes.
Okay. Then the Vistani, who he actually introduces himself as Aragal, he says, very well. I need to continue the search with some of these other Dusk Elves, but I will have several of them lead you into the encampment, and you will be escorted there and guaranteed a place of safety.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, so you then they'll take the wagon. The wagon's still in good shape, and the horse that was being used to draw the wagon. Actually, there'll probably be 2 horses now that I think about it. Though they're both fine, they weren't injured, so the wagon can accompany you guys into the camp. So you make your way down the trail towards the Vistani encampment, and let me pull that area up here. Gotta love the big sandboxy adventures. Okay, so this trail you're on is not the main, like Old Svalich Road is pretty well traveled and it's pretty flat. This is kind of more of a horse trail or foot, a little bit bigger than a footpath, but obviously doesn't see the kind of traffic that the main Old Svalich Road does. Let's see, there's a description here. The woods part to reveal an expansive clearing. A small grass-covered hill with low houses built into its sides. Fog obscures the details, but you can see that these buildings feature elegantly carved woodwork and have decorative lanterns hanging from their sculpted eaves. Atop the hill, above the fog, is a ring of barrel-topped wagons that surrounds a huge tent with a column of smoke pouring out through the hole in the top. The tent is brightly lit from within. Even at this distance, you can smell the odors of wine and horses that emanate from this central area. And I can move you guys to a new map. Oh, once I get it. Here.
Oh God.
Yeah, and it's zoomed in pretty far.
Yeah.
So at the bottom of this map, you can kind of see a pictorial of the hill or the encampment. So it's these rings of these buildings, and then they're actually permanent structures. These houses are at the base, and then at the top of the hill, you see the big tent surrounded by wagons and horses.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay. And one blacked out.
Yeah, those are just blacked out like the interiors because you haven't seen them.
So we can only see the interior of 2 buildings?
So we're coming from here.
Yeah, you guys actually, let me see where I would put you. I will go ahead and copy it from another map here. can't I scroll sideways?
So that 10, 20, 30, those are elevation changes?
Yes. 4 and... Always fun switching maps. I'm going to pop you...
I'm guessing we'd come in along that path, probably.
Yeah, I'm just going to put you at the base right above the picture here.
Okay.
And Ismark and Arena are also there. And of course, they're on another layer. And back we go here. All right.
Oh my god, we are tiny.
Yeah.
I know, I'm at like 20% and I can't even see my token.
Yeah, you probably need to zoom in a bit. So you guys, yeah, you're approaching this camp, and you are being escorted by 3 guards, or three of these what Aragal referred to as dusk elves, and they say that the shacks or hovels are actually owned by the dusk elves. They're the residences of the dusk elves, and the actual Vistani live in the encampment up at the top of the hill.
Okay.
So are we guests of the Dusk Elves or the Vistani?
Well, the Vistani, Aragal is the one that extended to you the invitation to the Vistani camp. The Dusk Elves, they didn't really, well, I guess, do you strike a conversation with them, or how did you?
I imagine on our way over we would talk with them. If they were willing.
Sure, yeah, I mean, it just,
Yeah.
What did you want to ask them about, I guess?
I would ask, well, not, especially now that we know that they live around the Outer Ring, I guess I would ask what they're doing with the Vistani. Are they protecting them, or just friends of the Vistani, or
The partnership they have?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the Dusk Elves says that their race is pretty much all but forgotten, and there's just a few survivors living in secret places like this. They're kind of similar to Wood Elves, but a little bit different. They're self-sufficient, but they have kind of an arrangement with the Vistani who let them stay there and at the same time kind of keep watch over them. At some point in the past, they had negative dealings with Strahd, and he doesn't go into much detail there, but there was some enmity there, and they crossed Strahd in the past, and Strahd responded by pretty much cursing them and killing every single Dusk Elf female that lived in Barovia.
Well, that's not very nice.
No. So since then, Strahd has apparently tasked the Vistani with keeping an eye on the Dusk Elves. And the Dusk Elves know that they aren't safe in Barovia without the Vistani's protection. And Strahd also forbade the Vistani from helping the Dusk Elves escape Barovia, because the Vistani can leave the domain as they will, but they are not allowed to bring Dusk Elves out.
So I asked them why does the Vistani have this seeming agreement with Strahd? I mean, what makes them special?
The Vistani are Strahd's servants. They If you don't know the story, long ago, when Strahd was still immortal, in one of his many battles that he led, he was wounded by his enemies and left for dead. The Vistani found him and nursed him back to health. Ever since that time, he has repaid them and considered them an ally, and allowed them to maintain their independence, if you will.
So why would they help us? I mean, are they aligned with Strahd?
They are his servants.
Odd.
But they do as they will. They are very free spirited as well. They enjoy food and drink. They enjoy a good party. As long as they are not defying Strahd's will, and you have not crossed them specifically, there's probably not much to specifically fear from them.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, they know we're kind of, we help the Mardikovs, basically defeat their foes, which I think are aligned with Strahd. So, I don't know. I just kind of feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Ismark pipes up and says, the Vistani are interesting, but I would not consider them necessarily an enemy unless you were to cross them in some way.
Right. They're kind of neutral.
Well, let's just
In a
say
way.
that you probably want to still keep an eye on your purse strings when you're around them, but they may not go out of their way to harm you unless it's just they're under specific orders from Strahd himself.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so at the moment he finds this amusing. So
Yeah.
Who, Ismark?
no, Strahd.
Oh, possibly.
He told us that.
He told us he found us amusing. So
Oh, he found you amusing, yes.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he gave you the little golf clap at Yester Hill for your performance.
Yep.
So,
All right.
we haven't risen to the level of annoyance yet.
So anyway, the Dusk Elves say that they need to kind of resume their posts. Actually, one of them will be staying at his post in front of this one cabin, and the other two need to go rejoin the hunt for the search for Arabelle.
I need to let Jack out, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
Come on.
But in the meanwhile, he points you up in the direction of the top of the hill if you wish to continue on to the Vistani camp.
I'm going up.
Okay, you start walking up there. Okay.
Are these horses all around
Yeah. If you
as we
get-
approach, or maybe you have a description? I shouldn't get ahead
I've
of
got
you.
descriptions. Yes, I've got lots of descriptions. Pull up here. So, yeah, it's bunch of wagons on the outside surrounding the central area. Inside the circle, the hilltop, the hilltop is covered with steaming piles of horse dung. More than 24 horses are tethered to stone blocks inside the circle of wagons, but outside the tent. Most of the animals are draft horses, but a few of them are riding horses equipped with saddles. Looks like there's 24 draft horses and 6 riding horses tethered there.
Okay.
And then in the center of the encampment is this great big tent. And inside you can hear voices.
I'm gonna walk over to the door, and is it like open, or is there a door?
Yeah, well, there you can see that there are from outside. You can see that through the canvas there are several fires lit within. Inside you see multiple figures inside. It looks like there's some that might be on the ground, and inside you see several standing. And let's see, that's Aragol. He's not there. Let me move him somewhere else. I'll just go ahead and reveal this whole thing here.
So you're up there.
Yeah, I wandered up.
So inside the tent itself, let me pull that description up here. Piled outside the way. Wait a minute, that's not right. Yeah, that's right.
Whoa.
Piled outside the wagon are several empty casks of wine. From inside the tent comes the crack of a whip, followed by the howls of a young man. Three sputtering campfires fill the tent with smoke, and through the haze you see 6 Vistani passed out in various places in the dead grass. A barely conscious and shirtless teenager hugs the central tent pole, his wrists bound with rope and his back streaked with blood. An older, larger man in studded leather armor lashes the young man with a horsewhip, causing him to scream again. So that's what you see. These basically 6 passed out Vistani on the ground, and there's one more younger Vistani tied up against the central column, and this bigger guy in leather armor he hasn't noticed you at all. He's just completely intent on lashing this guy with this whip, apparently within an inch of his life.
It's like we discovered the Vatican.
So is there anyone near the tent entrance milling about?
No, actually, you don't see anyone outside in the camp area itself.
So the other ones appear passed out?
Inside the tent, yes.
So they're the same token. Are they all young?
No, I mean of various ages. They're mostly, I don't know, probably older, middle age.
Okay. As I look in, does it look like any of them were being beaten as well? Like they passed out from being beaten, or like can I tell?
From the evidence close at hand, you can see like bottles on the ground next to them. It looks like more they've passed out. They don't appear to be wounded or anything like that.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm asking. Okay. I guess I'm gonna walk in.
Okay. Let me just see if he notices you walking in. He rolled a natural 1, so no, he's actually so wrapped up in this, and you see him saying, actually, he's not even saying anything. He's just whipping this kid, and this kid's like, ah!
When he brings the whip back, can I grab it?
Sure. Why don't you make a dexterity check?
All right. Just dexterity, or like an athletics or something like that?
No, I'll just say straight up dex.
Straight dex, all right. 13.
That'd be a save. Is your bonus on a save any different?
Oh, whoops. There.
Well, if your save bonus is the same, it doesn't matter.
I think I have a +1 to save bonuses, so I guess that would be a 12, not
12,
a 13.
Okay. So let me see how this would work. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say that you grab it, but you're unable to hold on to it. So it actually kind of whips through your fingers as he pulls it back. I mean, this guy looks actually pretty damn strong.
Okay.
But so he notices now when he pulls the whip back, and he notices that it's held out. So the whip is stopped from its attack, but it does kind of slip out of your fingers. And now he turns around and looks at you and says, "Who the hell are you?"
What was the name of the guy that said we could come here? I don't remember his name now.
He introduced himself as Aragol, and this
Aragol sent us here.
He did say Aragol said that his brother's name was Luvash.
Aragol sent us here. Are you Luvash?
I am. Why did Aragol send you here?
We are not allowed in the town, whatever Barovia, is there not? Is it? No, it's not Barovia.
Vallaki.
It's Vallaki, that's the one, yeah.
Seeking
We're-
refuge
Yeah, so we're
From-
seeking refuge
from
the
Izek.
from the Burgomaster and Izek, and he said we could come stay here. So I'd like to know where we would be allowed to stay.
Aragal sent you here? That's
Yeah, I
in-
think he was following us. I don't know what happened to him.
He was going to look for the.
Oh yeah, that's
the
what he was
niece.
doing. Yeah, you're right. He went to look for some niece, but he sent us here and said you'd help us.
Okay, so he kind of looks you over, and at this point, it's also Irina and Ismark would be with you as well,
Okay.
Yeah.
and as well as the two Mardikovs, who I don't actually have a token for at the moment, but we'll
Yeah,
say,
so there's 8 of us here.
yeah, there's a bunch of you here, and at this point, you're all standing outside the tent, and so he looks around and, well, if Aragal sent you here, then you should be able to stay. Just a
What
moment.
did the kid do?
Him? He points at the kid tied up there on the post, and the kid kind of like looks around at you and kind of smiles at you. He's like, this worthless pile of monkey shit is Alexei. He's the one that allowed my daughter, that lost track of my daughter. So I think he has learned his lesson by now. Alexei, what do you think? And the kid goes, "Oh, I could have another." And he says, "All right." He whips him. He pulls back and whack across the back one more time, and the kid goes, "Ah, thank you." And he says, "Fine, you're done here." And he walks up to the post and unties it, and the kid collapses in a heap on the ground. And he says,
Fair enough.
"Now, what's all this about you needing to flee from Vallaki and all that? What's going on here? Why are you fleeing from Vallaki?"
Well, the whole town is, well, at least not the whole town, but the guards are after us.
Why? What did you do?
We may have caused some problems with Izek.
Is it?
Conf-
Oh, the
we confronted him, or he confronted us about some strange doll fetish that he had, and he got pissed off at us, and we got in an altercation and with some of the town guard, and we had to flee.
We might have beaten him up a little along the way.
Yeah, we took him hostage, and he got away.
troublemakers, huh? Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Did you kill someone?
Yes, one of the guards got killed inadvertently.
Ah, good. I hate those assholes. Anyway, you are welcome to stay here at the camp. But don't expect our help if the guards come looking for you.
That's
No,
all right.
we can take care of ourselves.
Indeed. But yes, in the meantime, we've I don't have much to offer you in terms of supplies or gear or anything. The camp is mostly out looking for Arabelle at the moment, my daughter. So we are a bit busy.
What happened to your daughter?
Well, this lump of shite here was supposed to be watching her, and she managed to get away from him, he says. A 7-year-old girl manages to elude a full-grown man.
Oh, she is your child, isn't she?
Yes, she is. Do you know where she is? Have you seen her?
No, we didn't see anybody on the. We were on the main road.
No, but if we can help out, we will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's awfully generous of you. I've not having met before now, but I will.
That's what we do.
Well, it doesn't sound like you were very helpful in Vallaki, but as I said, I don't care too much about those assholes. So, if you're willing to lend a hand, I'm not going to lie. It would be greatly appreciated, and if you can locate my daughter and bring her back, I would be most indebted to you. But if you,
Well, where was she last seen?
well, Alexei was watching her somewhere down the road, towards the main Old Svalet road, not too far off the path, and apparently she distracted him in some way, and when he turned around, she was gone. That's his story. I will admit my daughter does love to play hide and seek, but a dim-witted fool should be able to keep an eye on a 7-year-old girl. And he turns around and kicks the kid again, and the kid goes, "Ugh!" and rolls over. But in any case, her description, you will need her description. She's 7 years old, fair of complexion, unusual for a Vistana, and she has dark raven black hair.
Okay. Do you know where she might have gone? Are there places she would know, or would she just be lost?
At this point, we have no idea where she is. She's...
What's her name?
Arabelle is her name.
Oh, what do you think? Go look, or
I mean, at this
I'm
point,
looking
we
at
don't
that.
have any leads, so I think we should just keep an eye out for her. I don't know where we would go look.
right? We're not familiar with the area.
Yeah, we don't know the area any better than anyone around here does. That's for sure. They know it better than we do.
Well, any help is better than no help at all. But if you'll excuse me, I am actually fairly busy. Now that my attentions have been finished with this one, there is some other business I need to attend to. So,
By all means.
but feel free to make yourself at home in the tent here. We do have some wine. You can help yourself to that. And will you need to be staying long?
I think just one night is what we really need. Does anyone else see a reason for longer?
Nope.
Not yet.
Oh, very well. You're free to spend the night here. After that, I may need to ask you to move along, since we do have a lot of people here that also need to keep themselves fed. We'll have another wave of search parties starting up in the morning, so we'll have some people returning and needing to sleep.
Okay.
But until then, make yourselves at home.
Sure.
I'm gonna
What
start
does he
drinking
do?
wine. I don't know.
I'm sorry, Tim. What did you say?
What does he do? Is he still here in the tent? What is he doing?
He looks like he's getting ready to leave the tent.
Okay. I'm gonna wait till he leaves the tent.
Okay. Yeah, he strides out then and exits the tent.
Did he point us towards some wine? Like,
Yeah,
is there
there's
just wine around?
there's wine laying around, not just on the floor, but I mean there's some barrels.
All right, I'm gonna just start drinking. Sit down next to a barrel.
Okay.
Start drinking some wine.
Okay. The others kind of make their way into the tent.
I don't know. Whatever y'all want to do.
Oops, I just moved
All right.
Rowan, sorry.
After he leaves, I'm gonna go over by the kid.
Okay. The kid is kind of curled up and semi-conscious at the base of the tent pole.
That's
Excuse me. And his eyes kind of flutter as you approach, but he's still kind of like semi-conscious.
All right. I'm gonna touch him I'll lay hands for 5 hit points.
Okay. And when you do that, he kind of rejuvenates, and then he looks up and he says, "What have you done? What have you done?"
I say, your story smells, kid. What happened?
What? No,
Spill it.
you've healed my wounds. Why did you do that?
Right. I'll heal the rest of them too if you don't spill. What's going on?
No, if Luvash sees the wounds healed, he will kill me. He reaches over.
You better start telling me what the hell's going on. I'm gonna intimidate him or try to.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and make an intimidation check.
Yeah.
14.
All right. He looks over at you. Yeah, he looks up at you. Are you like? How are you intimidating him? Just standing over? Or are you fingering your axe or?
Well, no, because he wants to get beat up. I'm getting ready. I'm like gonna heal him. You know.
So you're intimidating. You're gonna heal him. Okay. All right. So he like.
It's the worst intimidation ever.
He like shrinks back. No more healing. No more healing. Please.
I said, well, then you better tell me what's up, kid.
All right. I was watching over the child, Arabelle, and she. I had to take a leak, okay? I went off to the side of the trail, and when I turned around, she was gone.
Yeah.
That's it.
Why would she just disappear?
I don't know.
She's 7 years old.
She loves to go
When did this
wandering.
happen?
She hates being trapped up in the encampment. She likes to go out and explore.
When did this happen?
When did she disappear?
Yeah.
That was yesterday.
What time?
Would have been. It was about early evening.
How far up the road here?
He indicates that it was just probably about maybe 50 feet from where the wagon was.
Okay. That's.
It's about the time the guy escaped, wasn't it? Or
No, it was the day before.
oh, okay.
No. All right. Well, I go ahead and hit him.
4. Okay. Yeah. All right. You knock him unconscious.
Hey, it's what he wanted.
I'm assuming you were doing non-lethal to
Oh yeah.
not to
because
kill
I'm
him.
armed,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not-
Yeah. Okay. So you hit him, and like a look of bliss covers his face, and then he falls over unconscious.
Hey, I gave him what he wanted.
God dang it.
All right, I come back and tell the rest of the crew what happened. What little useless information he gave.
Well, I think we were all there. It's just a
Yeah.
tent.
Yeah. You guys just kind of all saw that, and
They're all off drinking, so
Ismark and Arena are just kind of like shaking their heads.
I'm like, this
I'm
place
drinking
is
and
weird.
watching the show.
I'm laying down by the fire.
When you hit him, I applaud.
So are you guys going to bed up, or are you going to
I'm going to sleep. I'm tired.
Yeah, long rest.
Yeah,
take a long
I'm
rest?
gonna rest.
Okay.
I'm gonna drink until I pass out, and then take a long rest.
Okay. Yeah, you're able. The fires are still burning, and over the course of the night, at some point, one of the Vistani like kind of rouses himself up from his drunken slumber and goes out and fetches some more wood and restocks the fire. And they kind of wander in and out. Some of them waking up and moving about the camp as you. Oh, and Alexa finally kind of regains consciousness.
Okay.
If you want to talk to him anymore. If not, he's going to crawl his way out of the tent.
I give him a hard glare as he leaves.
Okay, he kind of furtively looks at you. Says, no more healing, I promise. So he wanders off there as well. So you guys, 3 of the Vistani actually remain unconscious in the tent with you, but the rest of them leave. So Arena and Ismark kind of not bunk, but curl up in one corner.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Not together, but I mean...
They're brother and sister. Come on.
So you've got like 3 Vistani left. Are you guys going to keep watch, or are you just going to all go to sleep?
I'm gonna drink until I pass out, so I'm gonna be useless for watch.
You don't get drunk anymore, remember?
Ah, son of a...
You had that wild
I can
surge.
still pass out though, can't I?
Well, I can't remember what the wording of that wild surge was, but you weren't able to get drunk. So I'm gonna say no. Actually, you just get sick to your stomach just because you keep drinking and you aren't getting drunk.
I just drink and drink and drink until I puke.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. I can't get drunk, so I'm just gonna drink until I puke and
Okay.
then pass out.
Well, I'll say that you, that barrel, since there were a bunch of other passed out Vistani in there, that barrel was already like half empty, so you pretty much cleaned it out.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm gonna clean it out and then I'm gonna throw up everywhere and pass out.
Okay.
Quite angry about the fact that I can't get drunk.
I just rest.
Okay. So I'll say you're gonna rest, Adrin, or you don't have to sleep. So are you just gonna meditate there, or? I'm sorry, you're muted, Paul.
Talking to the wife.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go to sleep. Well, actually, I meditate. I'm an elf, right? I don't
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna
that's
do that.
so you're gonna stay in meditation. All
Yep.
right.
Yep.
All right. Are the rest of you gonna trust that enough for him to be on watch, so to speak?
Yeah.
Rowan, are you gonna sleep?
Yeah, I was sleeping by the fire over there.
Okay. And Ismark is gonna stay up. Arena is going to sleep. So,
Son of God.
so yeah, Jugs, you pass out probably halfway through the night. I mean, it's actually probably close to a normal bedtime when you guys did this. It's probably like 9 o'clock or something. So you probably stay up till maybe 1. You're able to keep drinking till 1. Then you get sick and throw up. And Ismark doesn't want to disturb Arena, but he's obviously kind of like. But he doesn't lose it either. The rest of you guys get the benefit of a long rest. And nothing disturbs your sleep. In the morning, the Vistani wake up and get up out of the tent and start moving about the campsite. And you hear multiple other voices from other Vistani moving about. It sounds like there's like a shift change occurring. As Luvash had said, some people seem to be returning from camp and others seem to be getting ready to leave.
Okay.
So what do you guys like to do?
I eat a quick meal of some rations, and then I think we should start heading up the road, folks.
Towards the winery again, or where?
Okay.
What do those two want to do?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. What do Arena and Ismark want to do? What are their plans right now?
I meant the brothers.
Oh, those two. I don't care about those two. They can do whatever they want.
Oh, the Mardikovs. The Mardikovs would just as soon. They've been able to rest up. If you have any more healing.
I would have done that before my rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Elvir probably could use another dosage, and then he'd be pretty much close to at least safe enough to travel.
All right,
It wouldn't even need to be a high amount, like single digits.
I'll zap them up. I'll zap them now, but
It
say
was
I
before you
did
slept.
that before my rest.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you don't have to blow a spell slot on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, then he'd be pretty much ready to go. So he would be ready to continue on to the winery then. And as you're moving about, Luvash steps in with Arigal back into the tent.
12. Damn.
Oh yeah, he's fully healed then. And Luvash says, "All rested."
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
So
Remain here.
he looks over and sees the half-empty bottle or actually empty barrel, and he says, "Wow, you really did help yourself. You don't look the much worse for wear."
That was all him too.
Yeah.
He looks
He's a
over at
thirsty fella.
Jugs and says, "You drank all of that?"
Yeah.
And he looks over and kind of doesn't smell like it much agreed with you though.
Well, it was a lot.
Yes. I'm not sure that I could consume that entire barrel, but have at it. Anyway, as I mentioned, we're kind of busy at the moment switching our search parties over, so if you don't mind, I'll need to ask you to move along at this point, but I hope that we were able to provide you with some respite from your travails.
Very much appreciated.
Oh,
Does
yes.
the tent seem dirty in general, or
there's
is
puke.
my vomit quite out of place?
Well, it's not the cleanest place, but it's not like filled with filth and excrement or anything like that either. I mean, you had these other Vistani drunk and passed out in the tent when you got here, so it doesn't seem like it's that unusual, possibly of an occurrence. But not necessarily drinking a whole barrel or half barrel of wine.
I'm just trying to see if I should feel bad about throwing up on his floor or not. That's all.
He doesn't
trying to gauge that.
He doesn't seem like he's gonna like attack you over it or anything like that.
Okay.
I tell him if we see his daughter, we'll be sure to bring her back.
Absolutely.
That would be much appreciated. Thank you for that. We will definitely be very grateful if you do find anything out. And Aragal approaches you as well, Clytus, and says, I remember where I recognized you from. My cousin told me to be on the lookout for you. You have been to the village of Barovia, have you not?
Ah.
Yes. She said that she needed... You had made some sort of arrangement with her, and she didn't go into much detail, but that she had information that you were looking for, and that you should seek...
Barovia.
You should seek her out at the Serapool encampment as soon as possible.
Oh. All right.
Serapool.
Well, thank you. I will do
way
that
is
as
that?
soon as we can. It's back towards Barovia.
I suggest we go to the encampment.
All right.
I want to get this this beer making and ale
I assume
making.
the brothers want to go back to the winery. Is that correct?
Yes, the Mardikas want to. Now that they're fully healed and everything, there's still much ale. In fact, Luvash says to the Mardikas, "So you're going to bring us back some more ale now, right? You don't have any supply problems any longer." Or I mean,
Wine?
some more wine. Yes. Yeah. And they're like, "Yes, that's the idea. Thanks to these fine gentlemen here."
All right. So we wish them well, and you guys all okay with going to the other camp, I guess?
I guess we should ask Arena and Ismark what their plans are. Would you like to go to the camp with us, or do you want to head back to the winery, or do you want to go off on your own?
Well, they kind of look at each other and they say, "At the moment, it seems like our best bet is to stick with you."
All right, let's go.
The only other place that I have found has come close in terms of safety would be the church, but as I said, that doesn't sound like it's going to be much of an option anymore anyway. So.
Well, we got to go back there anyway.
I mean, did he go into detail about what happened at the church? I mean, we didn't really get a chance to talk about that, so.
No, and he said that he did not want... all he would say was that the church was no longer considered sacred ground, that something had happened, that he also begged my discretion in the matter not to go spreading it around because those in the village, that's one of their last refuges. But he did say something about feeling a growing feeling of dread and foreboding falling over him within the last few days. And said that while he didn't want to alarm his flock, he did take their safety seriously, and that he specifically asked for you, and he looks at Rowan, being a member of a follower of the Morning Lord, and he said that if he couldn't get in touch with you, that he would try to take matters into his own hands. But I could see the doubt in his eyes when he said that, as he seemed like he was afraid of getting involved in something quite beyond his capability.
Sure.
But
I'd like to go back to the church. I don't care about
the church's on the way.
As long as we do that, I don't care about the
Yeah.
and the kid. So there's me, the church, and the kid. I could care less about the wine deal.
all I want to do is go back to the Vistani camp and start making ale.
Well, so we're gonna go back into town. To get to church, we have to go back into town. Is everybody okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
So
How are we gonna do it? Are we just gonna go through the front door?
No, I think we should go in one of the side gates.
yeah, you've got multiple ways that you can get into the town. In fact, there's a lot of trails leading from the Vistani camp itself around to, like I said, there's some various entrances that are locked gates that probably aren't manned. But you could also, obviously, there's woods all the way around the town itself, and there's 2 other gates. Although you're not sure what the real status is of any of the gates at the moment.
I like to do one of the back gates.
And we should do one that's relatively close to the church, so we don't have to walk through the whole town.
Yeah.
But, you know,
What's the one I'm thinking?
I don't know. Why don't we just go over the fence right here? How tall is it?
The fence, again, is 15 feet tall, vertical logs, essentially, wooden poles topped with sharpened spikes.
Who's up for some dwarf tossing?
That'd be quite a toss to get you over a 15-foot wall.
Out of curiosity, I'm gonna push on a couple of them. Do they?
Wait,
Are they pretty sturdy?
Wait, where are we?
you're in the camp still.
Oh, I thought we
Yeah,
were
we're
over
still-
there. Oh,
You are in the camp at the
why are we
moment.
talking about this? We're not even there. Okay, well, let's go.
where are we talking? Like
We could discuss it as we get
right,
toward the
right there?
Yeah. I want to go
Yeah, I would rather go over the fence if possible.
Right.
or through the fence if possible.
Well, you have seen the wall before, and it doesn't look particularly feeble. It would take quite a lot of chopping, and I mean,
Noise.
it'd be like cutting down a tree to get through it.
Okay, it doesn't seem like there's gonna necessarily be any weak spots where we could push a couple of the logs over.
You've seen the walls in the immediate vicinity of the east gate and the west gate.
Yeah,
Somebody have
and
a grappling hook?
So
they
this
look
is
pretty good.
definitely
solid.
more fortified than our southern border.
At the moment, yes.
At the moment, yes.
Does anybody have a
Proud.
grappling hook?
I got a crowbar.
Let me look. I think I might.
If it came down to it, if you didn't have a grappling hook, you probably could form some kind of a crude grappling hook out of a crowbar and a rope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of
but
what I was thinking.
Probably would involve
we-
a higher DC in terms of checks to see if it failed in some way.
We could like make some kind of loop on our rope too. I mean, and get it over the spike on top.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
I would say,
hell, yeah.
mechanics-wise, I would say that if you guys wanted to like try to scale the wall, and if as long as you had some mechanism to get up there, you would probably be able to do it. It would probably involve one or more climb or acrobatics checks,
Okay.
and there's a possibility based on that acrobatics checks that you might take damage.
Right.
Oh, it's a good thing I suck at that. All right.
And having some kind of rope obviously would help with that check.
All right.
I don't have a hook, but I have a rope. I have a javelin.
Well, here's the thing. I liked your idea. What we could do is you could just take the rope,
Loop it.
take the loop end of it, throw the loop end up over, so that it goes around one of the big, spiky parts.
Yep.
Pull it taut, then take one end of the rope, loop it through the other, and then pull it until it tightens around the top of the
Right.
Yeah,
fence, and then that would pretty much give us our rope. You wouldn't even need the grappling hook.
Hook. Right.
Then we can just climb up it.
Yeah. You just tie the right knot and it'll tighten itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Ingenious. Yeah, each of these
All right.
poles is probably, like a small tree, like maybe 10 inches in diameter or so, maybe a
Yeah.
foot.
Okay.
So
Almost
so we
make
go
it
right
like
here,
a
we'll do that.
lasso and trying to get it up there. So we'll probably have to have some kind of check to see if we can loop it.
Yeah, it's. I would say again. I'm going to boil it down to as simple as possible. That essentially you'd be making a climb check. I'd probably be lowering the DC quite a bit if you had a rope, and then climb over the spikes themselves. Because remember, there's after the spikes, there's a 12-foot wall on the other side. So right after the spikes, you'll be able to drop onto this 12-foot, not wall, excuse me, a walkway.
And a person can see over the wall then when they're on that. Correct?
Right, exactly. That's for guards to walk along, and you do remember seeing guards occasionally walking, but you have no idea what their frequency of patrols are or anything like that.
We'll have to kind of scout first, and do it at night and all of this stuff.
Okay, so which way are you going to go? Where are you going to try and do this?
So why don't we go like way up here and then skirt the trees like along here.
And
then eventually end up.
I thought like right in back of the church, so then we have less ground to cover, and we can get to the church very quickly and seek refuge in there. Once we get over, maybe I'll go first and talk to what was his name again? I forgot.
Father Lucian Petrovich.
Right. Okay.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay, so you guys go along the trail back to the Old Svalach Road. Are you trying to stay out of sight of anybody, or are you actually? How are you trying to proceed here?
I guess once we get past, by the road, we're not gonna walk on the road, but try to go.
Let's go due north to the edge of the woods, and then cut along the edge of the woods.
Okay, I'm just saying in terms. Are you moving stealthily, basically?
Somewhat, I would think.
Somewhat. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
We're not trying to be obvious.
Okay. So you guys, all right. So you cross over from the Vistani camp, and you don't see anyone in the immediate vicinity. When you're on the road, you can see now that it's day, you can see the gates in the distance, but they're so far away. All you can tell is that they are manned. That there's somebody standing. There are 2 guards standing there, but it's so far away you can't make any details at all about them, even if they're paying attention to you. And they're probably used to seeing people coming and going, and they wouldn't be able to identify you at this distance for sure. So you're able to kind of casually walk across the street to the other side and kind of disappear into the foliage behind the buildings, so to speak. So continuing to be somewhat stealthy, you make your way along the woods. Again, you're basically staying about 600 feet or so away from the wall if you're kind of going along the tree line there. Enough that you can make out that you do see guards occasionally walking along the wall. It seems like a guard would pass by every 5 minutes or so.
Wow.
That's often.
Yeah, that's pretty. Doesn't give us much time. We can get one guy over, and that's about it. But it might be different at night.
Yeah.
It's true.
I should say, it's not like one guard passing the same spot every 5 minutes. It's like the one's within sight every 5 minutes. So probably as far as intervals walking across the same spot, it would be like once every 15 minutes. Because your range of vision would extend at least, over to here and to there. So
well, for some of us at least.
Well, it's daylight, so you guys can all. You pretty much have range of sight. There's no sun in Barovia. It's another cloudy day. It's not raining today. It's just kind of cold and dreary, but not at least wet.
Okay.
Which should make scaling the wall at least a little bit better. So in any case, you managed to make your way over to this strand of trees here, or maybe this strand would give you enough cover.
I was thinking like there, yeah.
So like I said, you kind of watch the guards for a while, get a sense of what kind of pattern there is to their movements, and you figure you can time it so that if you waited just at the right time and everyone hustled over there, you could probably all make it over quickly enough that you'd be able to get over before the next guard came along.
All right.
So you do that. The guard passes out of your sight along the walkway, and you all book over to the wall itself.
Okay.
And so then who's going to tie the rope? Or throw the rope and try to tie it off and everything?
Who was the highest acrobatics?
Probably me.
Athletics?
I have a 4.
I have 0.
I got a 7.
Yep.
That would be
There
it.
we go.
Okay, so yeah, Paul, why don't you go ahead and make an acrobatics 12. Okay, cool. So you're able to throw the rope over and kind of lasso the top, one of the spikes on the wall, so to speak, and get enough so that it comes back down, and you're able to tie it off nice and tight, make a nice loop around the top in a relatively quick fashion. So after that, it's just a matter of everyone making climb checks to get over.
Okay. Is that acrobatics, you said?
Yeah, I'm sorry, acrobatics, Jai.
Or athletics?
Acrobatics would be...
Oof. All right, I'll try. Mine's a 0.
Nope!
And we left Rowan behind.
Okay, and Ismark and Irina both... Okay.
Once some of us are up there,
I
can't
could
we
use
kinda
my-
help?
I could use my inspiration.
If you want to.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you're able to make
figure-
it over the top. The only one who didn't make the DC, which I actually was 12, was Irina. She actually failed her acrobatics check, so she actually takes some damage from the spikes. And I need to pull her character up here. Now she took 4 hit points. She actually gets caught on one of the spikes, and she gets over. So she's
Okay.
standing on the walkway with you all, but she did.
Is there any blood on it?
She
If there is,
she was wearing.
I wipe it off.
Okay, yeah, she was wearing armor in any case, so it's kind of more of a damage under the armor type of thing.
Okay.
All right, and I'll
Let's get
touch her
down.
for 5 hit points.
Let's just get down right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we'll
yeah,
stop
you're
worrying
on the
about that.
12-foot high walkway. How did you want to get down?
I'm gonna jump.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna lower myself.
I'm
like,
gonna hang off of it and then.
if you hang
release.
off of it, yeah, it's only a 5-foot drop then.
Okay. So you're just gonna carefully go down off
Yeah.
that way. That would be fine. And did you say someone was gonna heal Arena too?
Yeah, I'm gonna lay hands on
Can we
her.
just
It'll
get
take-
off the wall first?
Well, he just touched her quick. Just gave her
Yeah,
a
I
pat
just
on the back, and
Yeah, that's an action. So he could do that while someone else was climbing
Yeah,
over.
that's what I figured.
So okay, yeah, I'll just say that is enough to heal her back up. So, so you get back down on the other side, drop down, and it's enough of a. If doing it that way, if you're not jumping more than 10 feet, you don't have to make acrobatics checks, and you don't take any damage. So now you're basically beneath the walkway, against the
Okay.
wall.
I
Go
grab the
over to
rope.
the church.
I hand the rope back to Rowan.
Me. Yep. All right.
And the church, again, I don't have a map. They didn't supply a map for the church for whatever reason, so I'm just going to read the description again. This slouching centuries-old stone church has a bulging steeple in the back and walls lined with cracked stained glass windows depicting pious saints. A fence of wrought iron encloses a garden of gravestones next to the church. So this is a bigger church than the one in Barovia. Looks like it's better tended. As I said before, there's actually it looks like it's got a nice landscaping. At this point, you had seen this younger male human last time you were here, kind of digging around the edges. It looks like whatever he was doing is finished.
Caretaker.
Yeah. And he is not out at the moment, though, that you can see.
Is there an entrance on this side of the building?
On that side of the building, yes, there would be.
So let's go there.
Okay. Looks like it's a tradesman's entrance, so to speak. Or probably it's what's used by the whoever
True.
was helping out there.
What about
Well, we can still go in that way.
that's yeah, we're right there even.
Just get in.
Yeah.
Okay, that, let's see. Yeah, I would say the door is not locked. So you test the knob and it opens.
All right.
And inside, again, I don't have a layout of the inside of the church, but you would likely be entering into what would basically be kind of more residential areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure there's a church office, several bedrooms, and various rooms leading off to the side, cloakroom, that sort of thing.
Sure.
Does Rowan understand the layout better than the rest of us?
Rowan, why don't you make a history check, a knowledge history check?
Sure. Or would it be a religion check?
That would work too. Okay. Yeah, you everything about this church from what you've seen, and you did stop in briefly before when you were on your way out of town, that this is like a church that you would see
Typical
maybe
church.
in the realms, but not.
Right.
It's almost like how a church might have developed if a religion forked off from yours 500 years ago.
Okay.
So there are similarities, but there's other things that are a little bit different.
Yeah. I'm sure architecture-wise it's different because, you're in a different area and stuff like that. But
Yeah, it's definitely in the kind of Barovian style of architecture, which is kind of more Germanic looking.
As I walk in, do I notice, like, does it, like, feel different? Like there's a pal or anything, in my energy? I mean, or do I feel like I'm home, like I'm in a sacred place?
You don't get any special feel other than, again, the accoutrements of like the trappings of the religion, like the holy symbols and the obvious devotion to the faith. You don't get any kind of special supernatural sense that this place is in any way connected to your deity.
Okay. Well, I try to seek out, was it Lucian?
Okay. Yeah, you make your way through the hallways towards the main chapel area, and you find a young boy, actually, dressed like an altar boy. It's basically kind of cleaning up around the altar area.
Okay.
And
he ask him if he knows where he is.
I'm gonna look at Rowan and say, "Don't touch him."
The boy looks surprised to see you walking in from the back of the church, and he says, "You're looking for Father Petrovich?"
Yes.
Oh, okay. Who are you?
I'm Rowan.
Rowan? Okay, I'll
tell him your last name.
Morning Lord of the church.
I'll go find him right away. And he kind of dashes off towards the front of the church area. And there's some other rooms in that off to the side in there, and you hear voices from that area, and very soon Father Lucian comes out. And again, he's middle-aged man. He's got a beard and dressed in the robes of the Morning Lord. And he sees you guys standing at the back of the church, and he greets you with a warm smile, and he says, "Thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad you were able to..."
Ismark told us that you needed my help, perhaps.
Yes, there is a grave matter facing the church that we should discuss. And he kind of looks at the others in the group and says, it would be something appropriate to discuss only in those who serve the Morning Lord, though.
That's fine, but we do need some refuge here.
I see. And from what Ismark has told me, that you're all stand-up folk, and I think we can, share secrets here. So he goes on to explain what he meant. He says that until recently, the church was protected from Strahd's depredations by the bones of Saint Andral, and Saint Andral is who the church is dedicated to.
Yeah.
The bones of Saint Andral, which were sealed in a crypt beneath the church's main altar. But now the church is at risk because someone broke into the crypt a few nights ago and stole the bones.
Yeah, this whole entire Barovia, so much going on.
Yes. Until recently, Father Lucian was the only person in Vallaki who knew about the bones, but he recalls that he mentioned them to Yeska, the young altar boy, over a month ago, just to put his mind at ease, because he was afraid of Strahd getting in and killing him. After the bones were stolen, Father Lucian asked Yeska if he told anyone else about the bones. The boy nodded, but wouldn't divulge a name.
All right, Rowan, go touch him.
Is that the boy we just encountered?
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually the kid is still standing there kind of looking at you kind of fearfully.
I glare at him.
Okay, his knees start shaking. And a little dribble runs down his pants and soaks the carpet.
I move close, and then I take a step back, and I'm like, I go like this. Come on, tell me. Who did you divulge this information to?
The Father Lucian kind of looks at you and then looks at the boy, and he says, It's okay, Yeska, you can tell him. And the boy kind of looks down and says, I told Milovaj.
So I look at the
Father Lucian kind of shakes his head and says, That's who I suspected it might be. Milovaj is the caretaker.
Okay.
He is a troubled young man who I've taken in, and I saw so much potential in him. He was someone who is violent, prone to violence, prone to outbursts of temper, and I thought that taking him in and giving him something to do would help, but not as much apparently as I would have hoped. I believe he is the one that stole the bones.
Is he still around?
Let's see. Where would he
Or did
be?
he disappear after that?
No, you saw him actually outside yesterday.
Right.
He says that he is. Let's see what there isn't an outbuilding, is there? Well, actually, there is an outbuilding. So, yeah, I would say that there's a guest building. One of the buildings since he spends most of his time out tending the yard, the storage shed that contains all the gardening implements and everything would have like a bunk and everything, and that's where he would probably stay.
All right. So back to the matter at hand. I mean, what has since changed since the bones disappeared?
The bones were what consecrated this church.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, Yeska, but we are not safe until those bones are returned. There is nothing stopping Strahd from entering this church.
There's always your faith. But let me go talk to this boy.
Please do not hurt him. Do not harm him. He is temperamental, and he can be prone to violence even sometimes, but I believe that somewhere within him there is good struggling to get out.
All right.
Okay. And he kind of shows you the way to the. He actually indicates the shed in the back as to where he would be staying.
Sure. Okay.
He usually gets up. It would be probably right now. If you guys left pretty much close to dawn, it would probably be around 8 in the morning. So he would probably be arising in not too long. If he's not up already.
Yeah. I don't want to wait. I'll go wake him up if I have to.
Okay.
That might even be better.
Okay. He's going to accompany you. Does anyone else wish to join?
I will. Got nothing better to do.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So Father Lucian leads you to the gardening shed / boarding room, for which he does have a key. And he first knocks on the door and says, Milovaj, are you there? And inside you hear a voice of someone, a younger man, sounds like, say, what do you want? It's early. He says, I have some people here who wish to speak with you. May we come in? And there's like a pause and then, sure. And he opens up the door and indicates for you to go inside.
All right. I'll step in first, I guess, and...
All right, yeah. Inside the shed, it's a typical garden-style gardening shed. I mean, you're not entering from. There's two entrances. It looks like one to like wheelbarrows and other gardening implements out, which is much larger and kind of more of a garage, kind of like an old-style garage door type thing.
A ramp or something.
Well, it's even with the ground. There's no real ramp.
Right.
But and then this would be more like a regular door. And on this side of the shed, you can see it's kind of partitioned a bit from the storage area. It's got a cot, and like I was saying, there's a little counter for him to prepare meals on, and
toaster oven. You know.
Yeah, pizza oven, I'm sure. Hot pockets and such. So you see Milovaj, again, he's younger man, possibly not even 20, but he's dressed in the same kind of garb that most Barovians wear, but he's more of a gardening style outfit. It's definitely stained and looks like he uses the same outfit a lot of the time.
Is he in bed still?
No. Well, he is up now and looks like he was in the midst of preparing some sort of breakfast.
Okay. So,
and yeah, he looks over at you and then looks at Father Lucian and says, who are these people? And Father Lucian kind of looks over at you expectantly, and they wish to speak with you.
Said, I am Rowan Dawngreeter. I'm a servant of the Morning Lord as well, and Lucian has brought to my attention that that this place has recently been desanctified by somebody that has removed the bones of the patron saint. We are looking for this item so I can re-sanctify this. I have come a long way for this trouble.
Why do you think I can help you?
We have information that says that you were told about these bones, and they only disappeared after you received that information.
So?
That
He's
is...
got you there.
Yeah, he got you real good.
I think you are connected to this.
Why? Why do you think I had anything to do with this?
I feel like that was just laid out.
Father Lucian says, Yeska told us that he told you about the bones. And Yeska, besides myself, was the only one who knew about them.
So yes, the boy could have done something with them. But seeing when I confronted him about it, he pissed his fucking pants.
Okay, so you're going to try and intimidate him.
So tell me, what do you know? You are not in trouble at this point.
Paul, can you just reply by peeing your pants? I want the little boy to just pee his pants and be like, there, you happy? I didn't do it either.
No, actually, why don't you go ahead and make a charisma intimidation check.
All right. Damn.
So he pees his pants and then he looks Rowan in the eyes and says, "There, I didn't do it either."
No, he becomes really sullen and basically turns away from you and says, "It wasn't me. I don't know why everyone always thinks that I'm the one that does something wrong."
So I'm there, so I'm going to say, kid. There. How's 17 for an intimidation?
That's it. You just walk up to him and say, "Kid."
Yes. I say, talk to me, kid.
Okay. Maybe it was
better than kid.
just kid. So maybe maybe it was something to do with being more used to dealing with other people in the faith of the Morning Lord,
Right.
but he is totally not used to dwarves, for one thing, non-humans, much less dwarves in armor and battle axes, who he's never met before, walking up to him
See
with...
what that would have done. I'm just curious. Not too much better.
In any case, you put the fear of the Morning Lord into him in the way that the Morning Lord could not, apparently. And he says, all right, fine. I took them. I took the bone. No, he didn't take the bones. I told someone else about the bones.
Who?
Henrik van der Voort. And Father Lucian says, the coffin maker? He says, yes. He promised me to give me money to help feed my brothers and sisters.
He lied, didn't he?
Who?
Did he give you anything?
Yes, he gave me some money.
Hope it was worth it.
And oh, actually, yes, he did steal the bones. That's all right. Yeah, so he not only told him about it, but he actually stole the bones and then gave them to Henrik for the money. Yep. So yes, Henrik van der Voort is the local coffin maker in Vallaki.
All
We
right,
need to
where's
give
the-
him some business.
Yeah, in fact, it's
Thank
already
you for
on
your honesty.
the map. It's right there. Is the coffin maker shop,
The truth will set you free.
and Lucian says, "Yes, indeed. No, Milavage, you did the right thing by confessing, and I will not turn you away. I can see that there is good in you." And he says, "Yeah, whatever." And turns back to his breakfast. In any case,
Hold up my axe and say, there better be.
he just kind of gives you a glare and like of equal parts fear and like, get out of my house.
Right, so,
Back to the church.
Yeah, so you guys make your way back to the church, and Father Lucian says, I do not understand. I don't know what the coffin maker would want with the bones to St. Andral.
Could you possibly get him here?
He
Like-
is not a member of the congregation. As far as I'm aware, actually, he and I have maybe exchanged 2 words in all the time that we've lived here, and he's been here since I moved here.
Couldn't you say that someone here needs his services?
I could try. Why don't...
We're not really, we don't really want to go walking around town. I'm sure you've heard of what might have happened at the inn.
I had heard there had been some altercations with the authorities, but And then there was some. And now that I recall, the guards were agitated for a while on the day.
Yeah, that was us. Yeah.
I see. I see. Well, things have calmed down a little bit since then. The guards are no longer searching the houses. I'm assuming they must have given up the search. But if you wish, I will go over and attempt to visit him and see if he will return to the church.
Let's say one of your followers recently lost somebody, and they would like a
free consultation.
Yeah, an estimate on his services.
I will give it a try. Are you able to? Will you be able to stay in this church until I return?
We're hoping to.
Very well. Again, you see men of good character, so I will do so. I will return as soon as I am able. And he says, in the meantime, you can stay here in this church and be safe.
Thank you.
So he leaves then out the front door and heads down the street towards the direction of the coffee maker shop.